let's take a look at Sunday in the NBA, streaming in to try and win our weekly matchups. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and we're going to be joined soon by DD Mega Doodoo. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky at joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Get $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We're available on all platforms, but also check out LockedOnDaily.com, where you can sign up, and you should sign up, to get a newsletter on your favorite team. Easy stuff, LockedOnDaily.com. All right, Sunday, 10 games on. Early starts as well. We've got a couple of games, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. That's Indiana, Memphis, and Orlando, Brooklyn. We've got 3 6 p.m. games. And then we have just really spread out as well. Then we've got the last one going at, what's that time? I always screw that one up. I think that's a 7 p.m. Pacific time start for the final game of the day. So a very spread out day across the NBA as we try and win our Week 6 matchup. Week 7 obviously would start the next day. Remembering, I have got a Week 7 preview video that came out already today, so go check that out. And that it is a weird, incorrect week on Yahoo. It's a 14-day matchup, Week 7. And from now on, our weekly nomenclature is going to be screwed up. Because if you're playing on Yahoo, Week 7 is going to go for 2 weeks. Other sites, it will not. And we need to understand that when we're talking week numbers, I'm probably going to stop doing that. Because if I say Week 7, that'll mean something different for a Yahoo person, something different for a default Fantrax person, something different for an ESPN person, something different for those of you in the Locked On Fantasy Basketball League, Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl, because I did actually combine the actual calendar Week 8 and 9 into 1 week, because that's the weeks they should have combined. So we're going to start talking dates versus week number more so, because it is going to get incredibly confusing if we don't do that. Let's take a look at points leagues. Let's take a look at streaming options. There's obviously going to be a lot of injuries that we don't know statuses of. At the moment, the Celtics play a bunch, they got a Sunday, Monday back-to-back, and they've listed Horford, Porzingis, Holiday, and White as all questionable for Sunday. So that would indicate that those players are going to play just one of the 2 games. I don't know which one they're playing, but they'll play either Sunday or Monday. They all might sit the same game. I don't know, but we are going to have those situations in Boston. The return of Precious Achiuwa could be coming for New York. I don't know that he is necessarily. Luka is doubtful for Saturday's game, so maybe he plays Sunday for Dallas. Portland, we don't know about Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson, and Robbie Williams. DeMar DeRozan is questionable for the game on, what day is it? On Sunday, that's what we're talking about. Kevin Huerter, don't think he's going to play. And Norman Powell might return in the Clippers game. That's the stuff that we know at this point. And we also got some updates on some Brooklyn ones. Claxton's available. Schroeder is available. Ben Simmons is available, which means Simmons probably sits on the game for Monday. Finney Smith is out in that game there as well. So that's all the information at this point. The Pelicans game, Ingram, Hawkins, and Herbalife Jones are out for the Pelicans. Dick is out for Toronto. All right, so let's take a look at our Yahoo Points League streaming options. I'm looking at these they're all 40% rostered or below. Just check your league to see, look, you might have other guys available. This is where Basketball Monster, and I don't really ever plug Basketball Monster much apart from saying that I work there. Yeah, much on the show, but this is what we do. Is you go in, you load up your league on there, and then according to your individual league settings and who is rostered in your league, you can see who we project to be the best player for the coming day, week, year, whatever. So I can give you arbitrary 40% cutoffs, which I am, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to get, hey, Nick Richards is back, by the way. BDNR is returning today for the Hornets, while LaMelo and Trey Mann out for the next 2 weeks. But BDNR is back. Stream him for now, then we see what happens when Mark Williams eventually returns. Anyway, so back to what I was talking about there in terms of adding guys in or importing your league onto Basketball Monster to see who's available. That's what we do. And we try to give these cutoffs here, but there might be better players available. None of these guys might be available, although I've tried to provide a really low-rostered option guys because I know that you double platinum, onyx, diamond, titanium league players are going to need some of that. You probably actually don't need my assistance. I probably need your assistance, to be honest, so maybe you can do that for me. On Yahoo Points Leagues, we go to Goga Bitadze, who at the moment is starting next to Wendell Carter Jr., and I've got them as the top two guys there on Yahoo Points. It might not happen. They might decide to change their mind against the Nets, who usually do go a little bit smaller, and that might mean that they might not go that direction, and we might get Wendell playing as the starting center and Goga as the backup. I don't know. I don't know. But I know that Tristan Da Silva's not it. I know that Anthony Black is not it. So, sorry, Mr. Black. I know that those guys aren't it. So maybe it is Goga and Wendell that they're the guys that they go with in that spot. Aaron Gordon's return is imminent, but it's not here yet. So Peyton Watson remains an option. He has been not that great for points leagues, understandably. That was never going to be his huge strength, but I do think Peyton Watson is going to be worth a stream for us here on Sunday. I actually think Ben Simmons is a very good stream, and it's awesome that he's available to play. I don't think he plays on Monday, and I don't believe we've heard anything to suggest that he will, but maybe, I don't know. But he's going to be available Sunday. We know that part of it, so Simo is worth looking at, especially with the Dorian Finney-Smith absence. Timothy John McConnell with Nembhard, Neesmith, Shepherd all out. McConnell's got that value. And then we do go to Jalen Wilson because Cam Thomas is out and Dorian Finney-Smith is out. Yes, Simmons and Schroeder are back, but I think Wilson's a better option than Martin, a better option than Milton, and a better option than Williams. And Milton was good last game, but that was without Schroeder. And I think Wilson's able to coexist alongside Dennis Schroeder better than a Milton is or a Zaire Williams is necessarily. So there's some Yahoo Points League stream guys that we're looking at on the ESPN Points League side of things. Again, we're using similar sort of cutoff numbers. Their scoring system is slightly different, so some players change priority positions. Goga still sits at the top, followed by Timothy John McConnell, Peyton Watson, Ben Simmons. I've got Wendell Carter in there as well. And the last one that does pop up there with Zach Edey out is Brandon Clark. Now, the Grizzlies have obviously been very messy of late with minutes sort of all over the shop and blowouts and 12-man and 13-man rotations and all those sort of changes, but I do think that Brandon Clark is relatively secure as a low 20-minute-a-night player, and that might just be enough to get you some value there for that one. We're going to come back and we're going to look at category leagues. We're going to talk about streaming for each of the main 8 categories in category leagues. Before we do that, though, today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. We're in December, right? It is December 1st here. It's December for you guys in the States tomorrow. And we are getting ready for the holiday season. And we know that is a busy time. Work functions, family functions, personal time that you need, whatever it is. There's so many different things that can clearly get to you and overwhelm, but also can be a time of comfort, whether that's meeting up with family that you haven't seen or celebrating things or ending a year at school or work, whatever it is. There can be comfort in December as well, but you might need help in identifying the comfort or recognizing the comfort or celebrating the comfort. And therapy can be something that helps you along those lines. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, BetterHelp might be something you can try. It's entirely online. It is suited to your schedule. You just go in there, you fill out a questionnaire, you get matched up with a therapist, you have a chat with them, you have a session, you see how it goes. And if that session does not go as you would like, and if you don't feel the right connection, you want to try a different therapist, you can do that. You can switch therapists at any point at no additional charge over at BetterHelp. So go and find your comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off your first month. That is BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, we're here talking streaming options for Sunday across the league. Again, always stay tuned. The Basketball Monster news page is a great way to be able to see what's happening and who's in and who's out. But keep an eye on guys that don't play, so we're able to get some other options in and get the right values in and the right players in at the right time, which is always going to be key. Let's talk about streaming in the points category for those category leagues. I do have Jalen Wilson up the top there. I'm using a 45% advanced roster percentage metric at Basketball Monsters to show you guys that I think are available, as well as including someone who is, again, a double platinum, onyx, diamond, titanium legend in this mix as well, making sure we're trying to cover all bases. Jalen Wilson can go off. He can score. He's going to get shots up with Cam Thomas there, and I do like him as an option. I grabbed him and Zaire Williams in a couple of spots, but I did drop Zaire in most of those spots to go and grab Vasily Micic. Please. Micic. I think that's what we did. I dropped Zaire to grab mid-sits in those spots because of the absence of LaMelo Ball and Trey Mann for that time. Dylan Brooks is like it's always scary. It's like you're jumping on a live grenade. Does this one work or not? I don't know. But it could be a pop-off game or it could be at 0 of 11, and that is not an exaggeration. I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe he shot 0 of 11 2 games ago. That's what Dylan Brooks does. Right, so we can use that, but you got to be scared. You got to be prepared to get scared. Peyton Watson, maybe a double-digit points guy, and it's just not that easy to find solid scorers on the waiver wire. As much as you might, players do score on the waiver wire. That is obvious, they score, but always getting enough scoring is important. And that's there's the general idea that you can find points everywhere on the waiver wire. I mean, you can, but not good ones. You can't find good volume of scoring. It's easy to find a 1 steal guy, which is a league average steal. It's easy to find someone that might get you a block, which is above league average. To get 3 assists, it's a little harder. But to get 18 points, impossible. Can't really do that off the waiver wire. That's where Jalen Wilson's ability to pop off is there, and Dylan Brooks' ability to pop off is there. And a 14.9 from Peyton Watson is not outrageous. 20 points from Duncan Robinson's also possible, although there's less certainty in the Miami Heat rotation. I think Duncan will probably start, but what if they do go back to Terry Rozier? What if it's Pele Larson who steps into a larger role? What if they do go back to Jaime Jaquez? I don't know. Their rotation is a little bit all over the place. That's actually just a sidebar. I tweeted this out the other day. Talking about the best coach in the NBA. And I actually think it is, at this point, as much as I love Spo, I think it's Mark Daigneault. A lot of people push back on that. Nah, man, Spo's still the legend. Someone said, yeah, what about when he made the playoffs with Juwan Howard? I was like, oh, no, Jermaine O'Neal. Bro, that's like 18 years ago, whatever it is. Spo's had a few moments this season which haven't been up to his usual high standards. He's playing, and some of it is the roster he's got, absolutely, as you know, maybe Pat Riley has also fallen off a little bit. That is possible, and Sam Presti clears very easily. But I think that Daigneault sort of sits almost at the top, along with Sneaky Joe Mazzulla, up there with Spo, and then I'd probably put who would I put after that? Probably Steve Kerr. I think Jordi Fernandez is making it's a very early push, but he's making a real push as well. Also, the way the coaching has fallen off in Sacramento is something we need to talk about now that Jordi Fernandez is not there and he's in Brooklyn. There is Sacramento. They look in big trouble. So what do you think? What do you think? Who is the best coach in the NBA? I do think it's Daigneault. I think he, apart from his inability to pronounce his name, I think it's Daigneault, and then we're talking Spo, Mazzulla after that. It would be that's how I would look at that. What was I saying? Yeah, Duncan Robinson for points. Flaming Mo Wagner. Although the minutes and the numbers have been down a little bit lately, he does have a very strong history of being a high usage reserve in only 18 minutes. So I think that's okay. And then if there's anything that Kevin Porter can do, and there's not really, but if there is anything that he can do, it is score. And we still probably don't have Norman Powell, although he might be back. I don't know. Porter is a risky one, not as risky as a Dylan Brooks, but there is risk in him because what if he just plays 18 minutes? I think there's a possibility of that. Probably not, but there is a possibility. If we're streaming threes, it has to be Duncan Robinson, I think. That's your best option. He's a 6 or 7 threes upside player. Of course, when you're streaming 3-pointers, that is the easiest thing to stream. And it is obvious every season. It is highlighted every season. It is cemented. It is absolutely confirmed every season. And I think I did a pretty good job of that in the off-season and pre-season, especially when developing things like rankings and metrics and weightings, and my Durant 2.0 ranking as well is really sort of reducing the importance of threes, understanding how readily available they can be off the wire. So, yeah, look, there's a lot of guys here. Like Duncan Robinson can hit 6, 7. Isaiah Joe can hit 7 easily. Sam Merrill can pop off and have 6 in 12 minutes. Like, easily. Dylan Brooks is going to get him up. That's again risky, but Juice McBride can hit you 5. Jalen Wilson can hit 6. We're talking league average or fantasy league average for threes is like 2.1 or something. No other category realistically, or maybe you find it with blocks, but it's very hard to find guys sitting on the waiver wire that can triple a league average, which is what you do with threes. I guess you could find a 3-block player on the wire, maybe. Could you find a 3-steal guy? Maybe. It's way easier to do it with steals. With threes. Yeah, can you find an 18 rebound guy? No. Can you find a 10, 11 assist, 12 assist player? Probably not either. Although Vasily Micic maybe can. Anyway, there are your 3-pointers. Rebounds. I do think Brandon Clark is just a nice, solid 6 to 7 rebound player. Probably not a high upside double-digit guy, but just enough there with a solid enough role. And then we get to guys who aren't as prolific or high upside, like Jalen Wilson, like Tamani Kamara, but you know they're going to start. Well, actually, Wilson maybe doesn't, but I think he's going to start. But you think they've got a pretty good role, and you might get 6 or 7, maybe 8 out of them, but it's about that minutes just giving more opportunities to get rebounds. I've got Kevin Love in there. That's the opposite scenario. He is a rebounding beast who might get 8 in 17 minutes, and he is off the injury report, I believe. He's also been an incredibly high steal rate player this season. Out of nowhere, I don't have really any idea why that is happening with Kevin Love at the moment, but it is. But he is a really good rebounder. We know this. Zaire Williams has had, I think, a couple of double-digit rebound games this season, and there's probably some extra opportunities for him. And then the other one is Mo Wagner, who, like Kevin Love, is a reserve center, but can easily get 6 or 7 of those in 17 or 18 minutes a night. And then we go to assists, and like I said, it is hard to find the right players here. TJ McConnell is, we like no Nembhard, no Neesmith, no Shepherd. He's got 25-minute upside, but he could also play 17 because Quentin Jackson might play more, and he can get 6 or 7 assists, but he could also get 3. I think there was a game the other day he had 0, and that's shaky, yes. Marcus Smart's been playing quite well in limited minutes the last 2 games, and he's probably more of a 5-assist player. Would I prefer at the moment Smart over Scott Pippen? Probably, yeah. Pippen barely did anything last game, and with Morant and Smart back, he is pushed further down the board. Davion Mitchell is a bad player, but there's no quickly. He can get 5 assists with 0 points. He's probably not likely to get 5 assists, but he can. Kevin Porter Jr. also can get some assists. The worry there is the Norman Powell return. And then Cameron Payne has been very strong with his assist rate. Now, his assist rate has been incredibly high in terms of conversions on potential assists. But he's there as a player who you can look at in that category. And then Chris Dunn also is maybe a 4-assist player, but it's very dry, man. With 10 games on, we're scraping the bottom of the... who here has got a chance of 7 assists? Maybe Porter. Maybe. But it's very dry. It's very dry to get assists off the wire for Sunday. Of course, Mitsic is a great option, and KJ Simpson for deeper leagues with the ball and man. I'm just going to keep banging those. Hopefully I got the Mitsic pronunciation right, but more just to get it in your head that ball and man are out, so we are looking at those 2 players in different sized formats. Let's take a look at steals, and that's where Marcus Smart's name comes in again. It's not great. I don't feel good relying upon Marcus Smart for fantasy value at this point in 2024, but his last 2 games have been good. And with a Grizzlies team that's not really giving big minutes to anybody, Smart's at least usable there, and it's sort of taken away some of the stuff out of Jake LaRavia, who'd been playing well prior to that. Kaysen Wallace, 30 minutes in 2 straight games. He's an easy 3-steal upside, maybe 4-steal upside player. Keon Ellis is also maybe Keon's like a 5-steal upside player. McConnell's a decent steals guy. Clearly, Peyton Watson probably just gets there through starters minutes, 1 to 2 steals. And then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has been playing much better. You could consider him a stream for 3s as well. His last 2 games have been absolutely red hot. I do not buy it for a second. The KCP is going to be a 12-team league player, but the last 2 games have been really good, and you have to pay attention to that. If he's going on a little bit of a hot streak, maybe you pay a little bit more attention, or you consider at least an option there of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, because he does also, and especially at the moment, provide some steals. We're going to talk blocks, we're going to talk field goal percentage, we're going to talk free throw percentage to round out Sunday as well. Before I do that, though, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Get ready to tackle all of your NFL action for Sunday with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can go bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything that you need to place live bets on the NFL, and it's all in one place. You don't have to worry about going somewhere else to try and find all of those information, parts, and pieces like stats, live, play-by-play, live. It's all there. You open the phone, you open the app, it's there, you place your bets, and all of the information that you need is right in that one spot. So when you're live betting the NFL, FanDuel.com and the FanDuel app is where you need to go. And join up at FanDuel.com right now and get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. And make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. Just watching myself in the monitor I've got in front here on the camera, and sometimes when I'm doing these, I feel like my eyebrows go really high. You know that meme? I don't even know what it is of that guy that's staring. The guy looks like he's roided up, the bald guy who's staring with the big eyes and the eyebrows. Sometimes I feel like I'm looking like that guy. You know the guy I mean? I wish I could think of who he is. Maybe I should get the actual meme photo and put it up. What do you think? We close? I don't know. For some reason, I'm just thinking that it looks like that. No, maybe not. Anyway. early Sunday mornings here is maybe not a great time for me to be trying to make jokes. All right, let's talk about the next part we're going to go to, and that is talking about the blocks stream options. Here for fantasy on Sunday, Peyton Watson, that is what he does. There's 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 38 minutes maybe for him. Jay Huff and Brandon Clark in Memphis, who've been splitting those center minutes with Zach Edey out. Mo Bamba, that's a 2 block in 15 minute a night sort of player, but we've seen that he can do it. Keon Ellis is also a very good out-of-position shot blocker in Sacramento. It does appear that DeMar DeRozan could play in this game after he's missing a few with the back problem. But Kevin Huerter could be out, but regardless, Ellis is going to play more than Huerter, even if Huerter's available. And the other one is Cason Wallace. Much like Keon Ellis, he's a steals guy, but he's a very good shot blocker as a guard as well. And sometimes getting that combination in Ellis and Wallace in particular can give you assists, steals, and blocks all together in one neat little package. The field goal percentage guys, we're looking at a combination of field goal percentage plus volume. So Mo Wagner, TJ McConnell, a great out-of-position field goal guy. Brandon Clark, Obi Toppin, it's literally all he can do. Trendon Watford in Brooklyn is an interesting player. 20 minutes maybe for him. Day'Ron Sharp still not back. Noah Clowney out. So Watford is a pretty good volume field goal percentage player. And then this is the one you guys need to know. Your Diamond Onyx, double Onyx Platinum Diamond Titaniums. Isaac Jones. Now you might not even know who he plays for, but I'm sure you do. Sacramento legend. He's been getting some power forward minutes. Now with DeRozan returning, maybe he doesn't play. That is possible. But with Trey Lyles out, Jay Crowder's been getting minutes there. Just keep an eye on Jones, who's been putting up pretty interesting field goal percentage performances. No, this is the deepest cut you could probably find. I'm trying to just find some of the most random stuff ever, but he actually does project out interestingly for tomorrow, which I didn't really expect to be the case. But Isaac Jones, one of the 3 Joneses that plays for the Sacramento Kings. Can you name the other 2? Mason and Colby are the answers. Lastly, let's look at free throw percentage. Jalen Wilson, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Duncan Robinson, very easy free throw percentage streams. But the problem is they might only be 2 of 2s or 1 of 1s or 3 of 3s. Not big volume, but just enough. And I think the hope on winning a free throw percentage is if you're close enough. If you can add a 2 of 2 guy or 2 of 2 guys, and your opponent has a weird day where they go 4 of 7, that you go up 1%, they drop down 2, and you catch them. That's the hope. Dylan Brooks is there. The Duck, Luke Kennard, is there, and Sam Merrill is there. But those guys, especially like Kennard and Merrill, they barely take him. You just know, I think, what did Kennard hit? About 40 in a row last year. You know they're going to hit him. And Brooksy's a little bit more likely to get some volume on your free throw percentage. And that's it. That's where we're at. That is a Sunday preview show. That is Sunday to try and win your Week 6 matchup. Go check out the Week 7 preview show that I did earlier on today. And the way that you never miss that episode is, of course, you hit the bell and you double bang on audio and on video, and you leave comments and you interact and you go in the live chat and you thumb up and all of that stuff. Hopefully, you're able to have a successful Saturday. Hopefully, you're able to have a successful Sunday in your fantasy life, but also your real life. Do something good. Pick a weed out of the garden. Get yourself out of bed. Make a coffee. Cook dinner. Do something good. Celebrate it. Right? Let's be happy. Let's be good. Let's not beat ourselves up for things that are incorrect. Let's learn from them. Let's do the good things. Let's do them together. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.